My wife hid the fact that she was pregnant with her first love's child. At my birthday party, after my wife's crafty ex once again knocked over the cake, she slapped him in front of everyone. I thought my wife had finally settled down, but as I went to the bathroom, I bumped into her at the corner of the stairs, comforting him with a look full of love. Enough, the child is yours. My thing with him is just a show. When she came back, she told me the news that she was pregnant, and even said she'd fire her first love and throw me another birthday party. What she didn't know was, there weren't going to be any more chances. She hid from me that she was pregnant with her first love's child, and I secretly filed for divorce. When my wife Wendy made her heartfelt promise, the room fell silent. Ignoring everyone's curious glances, I didn't say anything back. After a while, Wendy's first love, Mark, couldn't hold it in any longer and said, "Come on, Wendy hit me for you. What more do you want? You're going to be a dad soon. Stop being so uptight." I glanced at him silently. He's the one causing trouble, and just because I stayed quiet, I'm the petty one? Plus, Wendy is my wife, but the kid might not be mine. At that moment, my phone vibrated in my pocket. The screen lit up. I took it out and saw a message from a friend. "Billy, the pills you brought in for testing their birth control." I let out a bitter laugh and turned off the screen. Turns out, the vitamins Wendy took religiously were birth control pills. No wonder we hadn't had kids in 7 years of marriage. Although we both had medical checkups, and neither of us had issues. I remembered when we left the hospital, Wendy comforted me when I was feeling down. "Don't worry, even if I have to hurt myself doing IVF, I'll give you a kid." I was so moved that I handed over all my credit cards to show my commitment. Never thought Wendy schemingly just wanted to be openly pregnant with Mark's child. I should have been angry, but I felt only exhaustion. I didn't want to stick around, so I turned to leave. Suddenly, Mark grabbed me rudely. Annoyed, "Billy, it's just a cake. Okay? I'll buy you another one. Wendy planned this party just the way you like it. Don't you appreciate it?" Looking around at the party again, it was indeed decorated to my taste. Yet not one friend of mine was there, only Wendy and Mark's mutual friends. These folks knew all about their dramatic past and served as guards for their romance. Every glance they gave me was full of ridicule and amusement. Such a party I couldn't care less for. I shook off his hand. Wendy suddenly stepped outside in the middle, always biased towards Mark. Wendy surprisingly scolded him. "What were you thinking? Causing all this trouble?" She then gently tidied up my clothes and softly said, "If you're not feeling well, we can go home now." Even for once siding with me, I wasn't happy. Being the CEO of a public company, she often brought her businesslike demeanor into her life. Though I found her sometimes distant, since it was how she treated everyone, I didn't mind. Until 3 years ago, on my birthday, Wendy threw me a party as usual. Her ex Mark showed up out of the blue, smashed the cake, and toppled a wall of champagne. I thought he was just crazy and was about to throw him out. But then I noticed Wendy, usually calm and composed, lost her composure for the first time. She even left me and the guests, chasing after Mark, forgetting her image. That's when it hit me. Wendy could lose her cool, but I had never moved her heart. The next year, Mark pulled the same stunt, and when I went after them, I caught them hugging under a tree. This year, the plot took a twist. For the first time, she sided with me over him. But I knew too well, it was just her compensating me after getting pregnant with Mark's child. A slap followed by a sweet date, that's her usual trick. Seeing me dazed, Wendy's grip on my arm tightened. I shook my head. "I'm leaving." Wendy realized I wanted to go home and took my arm gently. "Okay, let's go home." Mark called to her jealously and raised his brows at me. "Wendy's pregnant, so she can't drive. You might want to take a cab home." Wendy playfully glared and then turned to explain softly. "I've got some work at the office, you head home and rest. I'll throw you another birthday party on Saturday." I nodded dismissively, opened the door to the room, and took a deep breath of fresh air. I knew there was no office work. Wendy was just making it up to Mark. After all, she had hit him in front of all those people. I was just getting my phone out to call a cab when I got a message. "Mr. Billy, your divorce papers are ready. They'll be delivered to you on Saturday." Please provide an address for delivery. At the same time, Wendy texted me the address for Saturday's party. I copied the address right into the delivery form. Wendy will love this gift. After everything was set, I returned home and called my mentor. Professor, I'm applying to join the research team on the isolated island. My mentor paused for a bit, trying to persuade me. Are you sure? Once you step on that island, you can't contact the outside world for at least 10 years. Aren't you afraid Wendy might turn the world upside down looking for you? Once I leave, Wendy's definitely going to lose it. Last time, she gave the rare painting she bought for me to Mark and replaced it with a fake one for me. I was done with her after that and planned to move abroad for good. But when my plans got leaked, she accused me of carrying secret documents to flee the country. That got me detained, banned from leaving, and almost fired. Later on, she was so scared I'd leave that she hid my passport and ID. She even had people watch me, keeping tabs on every move I made. If I stepped out of town, she'd know right away. Thing is, wasn't she into Mark? I was letting them be together, so why was she so obsessed with me? I shook my head, dismissed those thoughts, and told my advisor, we're divorced. She doesn't have a say in my life anymore. The advisor just informed me that the next chance to leave was this Saturday. We depart straight from the research center via helicopter. No documents needed. After ending the call, I set my phone down. Funny enough, it's Saturday again. I remember meeting Wendy on a Saturday. She was in deep debt, her company on the brink of collapse. She came, drenched, to pitch her company's tech to my advisor, hoping for a partnership to save the day. Rain made it hard for her to see, but she kept the proposal dry in her jacket, standing strong, not budging in front of a car. It was then I stopped my car, offered her an umbrella, and took her to have some steaming wonton from a roadside stall. I was drawn to her perseverance. Helping her win over my advisor, she landed a big deal, reviving her company. And naturally, we ended up together. Her business thrived while I pursued academic research. We were the envy of many, a perfect couple, or so it seemed. But how did it come to this, where we can't stand each other? Shaking my head again, I walked into my study to gather some documents. I stumbled upon our once special proposal book, gathering dust in a corner. On the desk was Wendy's favorite poetry collection from her youth. The open pages fluttered in the breeze, revealing a page with Mark's name on it, followed by her handwriting. I'll love you forever. So, she could openly express her love after all. Funny, at our wedding, she couldn't say I love you despite the MC's prompts and stormed off in embarrassment. I thought it was endearing, telling her, it's okay, you can write it if saying it is hard. She shyly refused again but held my hand, rejoining the ceremony. In hindsight, those were early signs. She wasn't unable to say it. She just held those words for someone else. Throwing those thoughts aside, I packed up my stuff, ready to send documents to my advisor when a message from Mark dinged on my phone. It was a photo of Wendy asleep in his arms. Then, he sent a taunting message. Don't wait up, your wife's with me and won't be home for days. Soon after, Wendy called, honey. Sorry, I won't be home tonight. Something came up. I need to go on a few-day work trip. But don't worry, I'll be back in time to throw you a birthday party this Saturday. Really got a special gift lined up. It's definitely authentic, she playfully emphasized. Ever since that fake gift debacle, she ensures all my presents come with certificates and receipts. But I couldn't care less. Coldly, I responded, great, I have a gift for you too. Wendy, feigning excitement, laughed. Really? Can't wait. Hope it's Saturday already so I can see what you got me. I hope she truly appreciates it. Laughing inwardly, I ended the call and burned everything that symbolized our love, along with our sham relationship. While she's on this so-called work trip, Wendy's been reporting her whereabouts and demanding video calls, trying to put on a loyal act. Yet, as she insists she's done nothing wrong, Mark continues taunting me privately. You really think she'd fire me? Just messing around. I'm her travel buddy this time. Don't worry, I'll look after your wife. He even sent me their flight confirmations. I chuckled to myself. This was no surprise. Mark, reckless as ever, always gets into trouble. But Wendy never punished him. So why would she now over a spilled cake? I ignored it, focusing instead on my departure plans. Mark wasn't giving up, sending vacation videos. What business trip? Just messing with you. We're having a blast. Wendy was all smiles, with a social media post unseen by me, saying she was fulfilling her dream of traveling the world with her first love. I tried so many times to take her on trips, always declined due to work. Looking back, priorities and what really mattered were quite clear. No reply from me. I had work to pass on before leaving. For the past few days, I've been working nonstop between home and the research center. Even the bodyguards following me eased up, noticing nothing unusual. Saturday morning came along. I got another taunting message from Mark, just like usual. This time, he sent me a DNA test result. He had done a paternity test in advance, proving that the baby in Wendy's belly was his, and he proudly flaunted it in my face. Didn't you ever wonder why it took so long for her to agree to do IVF? Yet she only got pregnant recently? That's because after one try, she said it hurts. We conceived naturally and this is our baby. When I saw this message, I didn't feel anything. Wendy really betrayed me. Her pregnancy wasn't from IVF. But so what? Today is my day to leave. I placed my phone on the table, let Mark's provoking messages flood in, and went to work as usual. Billy, it's fall now. Ma'am reminds you to put on some more layers. The housekeeper greeted me, handing over the clothes Wendy had prepared in advance with a smile. I took them, got in the car, and headed to the research facility, where I boarded a helicopter under my mentor's guidance. As the familiar city grew smaller beneath me, I felt freer. I was gone. From now on, Wendy wouldn't be able to find me. Meanwhile, Wendy just got off the plane when a sudden unease hit her. Worried, she called the bodyguard to check on my whereabouts. Billy already went to work at the research center. Hearing this, Wendy relaxed and sent me a message. Honey, I'm back from my trip. Have you gone to work? Don't forget to come to the party. These are gifts I bought for you while traveling. Do you like them? She attached a bunch of gift photos but didn't get a response. She didn't think much of it because I often forgot to check my messages when I got busy. She put away her phone and headed to a reserved private room with Mark. Wendy's friends had already arrived. Initially, Wendy wasn't worried, but as night fell and I didn't show up, she started to panic and called me 99 times, getting no answer. Just as Wendy was about to head over to the research center to find me, there was a knock at the door. A delivery guy peeked in. Who's Billy? Your package is here, please sign for it. Wendy felt a lot more at ease. Of course, he's preparing a surprise for me. Come on, we've been married so long. Why play these games? She signed for the package. But once she opened it with excitement, she found 2 divorce papers inside. Wendy was shocked but more surprised to see the papers were for her and Billy. Yet, she only panicked for a second, thinking since she had Billy's ID, divorce wasn't possible. So she wasn't really worried. But she did understand one thing. Billy must be mad. She tried calling Billy again, but it was still going unanswered. Beside her, Mark couldn't hide his happiness. He thought his provoking messages worked, and Billy really went into hiding. Internally, he hoped Billy would stay hidden this time and not get caught by Wendy, like last time. Seeing Wendy's upset face, he decided to feign concern. He's such a workaholic. Maybe he's still working and lost track of time. Wendy nodded enthusiastically, holding on to hope. You're right. He must just be busy. They all set off for the research center to find Billy. After verifying Wendy's identity, the staff shook their heads. Sorry, Wendy, you were married to researcher Billy, but you're divorced now. I can't disclose his whereabouts. Please leave. Wendy didn't even glance at the ID card handed back to her. Impossible. I didn't consent to divorce. How could we divorce? Especially now that I'm pregnant, he wouldn't abandon me. She knew Billy loved kids and was responsible. No matter how bad things got, he wouldn't leave her while she was pregnant. But she didn't notice. As she said this, Mark shifted his gaze guiltily. Wendy shouted and caused a scene but got nothing but a cold response. It's out of our hands. Please stop causing a scene here or I'll call security. No matter how much she pleaded or tried to use, She hit a wall at the research center. She walked in a daze, thinking of places Billy might go. But the bodyguards had seen Billy enter the research center and not come out. He had to be inside. Wendy stayed, waiting nearby, convinced she'd get a glimpse of him leaving. Late into the night, Mark draped his coat over Wendy's shoulders, trying to coax her. "Wendy, don't wait. It's windy out here. He's just mad and jealous, hiding on purpose. Just leave him. I'll be here for you as the kid's real dad." He wrapped his arms around her, hoping she'd react like before. Instead, Wendy slapped him hard, eyes blazing with anger. "Mark, how many times have I warned you? When you ditched me when I was down. From that day, you could only be a secret in my life. Don't get greedy." Mark's face darkened. He started, but Wendy cut him off. "The reasons don't matter, only the results do." Suddenly she remembered she could track my location through my phone. Calling someone, she opened an app to track my phone. Unexpectedly, Billy's location showed he was at home. Wendy immediately drove home. The moment she pushed the door open, she froze in place. Billy loved admiring antiques, and she always spent a fortune collecting them all over. The once full hall with paintings and poetry books was now just empty walls. She took another look and furrowed her brow even deeper. Their wedding photo used to be in the most prominent spot in the living room, but now it was nowhere to be seen. Wendy anxiously checked around and found that Billy's things seemed to be missing. She quickly called the housekeeper to ask what was going on. The housekeeper just sighed. Since the birthday party, Billy's been acting weird. He gathered a bunch of stuff and set it on fire in the backyard. Burned it all. Wendy's heart skipped a beat, and she angrily questioned, "I told you, if he does anything unusual, you have to tell me right away. Why didn't you tell me he was burning things?" The housekeeper replied, feeling wronged. "Ma'am, I did tell you, but you were busy then. You said unless Billy was packing his bags to leave, minor things didn't need to be reported." Wendy froze upon hearing this. She remembered now. When the housekeeper was reporting, she was busy having a night out with Mark. Hearing the housekeeper ramble on, she didn't catch a word and just brushed it off. But now she regretted it and immediately took out her phone to message Billy. "Hey, where are you? I'm home now. If you didn't like those art books, I'll order new ones for you. I promise I won't make you sad anymore." She sent several anxious messages but got no reply. Wendy, feeling helpless, checked Billy's fine location and found the phone was in the room. She walked upstairs, hoping maybe Billy was just playing a prank and was in the room to surprise her. Wendy pushed open the door playfully. "'Kay, honey, stop playing around. I know you're in here." But the door opened fully, and he wasn't there. The room was empty. No sign of anyone. Just a lonely phone lying on the table. Wendy grabbed it immediately, realizing it was Billy's phone. Mark recalled the mocking messages he'd sent and tried to grab it, but Wendy noticed. Billy didn't have a password set, so Wendy unlocked it easily. Opening the chat window, Mark's name flashed with several messages. Wendy's face darkened as she read them. "Did you really think she'd fire me? It was a joke. I'm the one who went on this business trip with her. Don't worry, I'm taking good care of your wife." The business trip excuse? We're having a blast. Have you ever wondered why she agreed to IVF but only recently got pregnant? That's because she only did it once and said it hurt. We conceived naturally. This is our baby. Reading those provocative messages and the suggestive photos and videos, Wendy exploded with anger. She grabbed a glass from the table and threw it at Mark. "Mark, how dare you tell him the truth? Didn't I warn you to keep a low profile and not stir up trouble?" Mark didn't dodge and got hit, his head bleeding, but he didn't care. He shrugged. "So what if I told him?" "Wendy, stop fooling yourself. You never loved him. You married him because he was a suitable husband. But the one you truly love is me, and you're carrying my child. We should be living together." Wendy slapped him again. "Do you think you can compare to him? Get out. I never want to see you again." Wendy leaned against the desk, clutching her belly, breathing hard, unable to stand straight from anger. Mark softened his tone, not daring to upset her more. "Don't harm your health. I'll help you find him. Okay? He can't just vanish into thin air." We'll check with his friends and teachers. We'll find him. Wendy's emotions calmed down. She and Mark went to see Billy's friends. But these close friends witnessed Wendy running off with Mark twice, leaving Billy alone at his birthday party. Now, hearing Billy disappeared, they cheered and scolded Wendy for being fake. Only now did she start pretending to care. Mark almost fought them in anger. Wendy pulled him away, apologizing, pale-faced. They searched all day but found nothing. Finally, they knocked on Billy's teacher's door. The teacher saw Wendy and shook their head, dismissing them. Leave, you and Billy have nothing to do with each other. Don't try to control him anymore. Wendy knelt at the door. He left in a hurry. I just want to know where he is. Is he okay? I swear I won't interfere anymore. The teacher snorted coldly. Don't worry. He's doing well. He took on a secret mission and will live in anonymity for life. You'll never find him. With that, the teacher slammed the door shut. Wendy slumped down, sobbing uncontrollably. Mark hid his happiness and pretended to comfort her. Wendy, don't be sad. If he really wants to hide, there's nothing we can do. We won't find him. Give it up. Can't the three of us just live a good life together? Wendy wiped away her tears, stood up, and said firmly, No, how could he leave without my permission? I will find him. Wendy wouldn't give up. She used the media, announced a missing person notice, and started looking for Billy. She wrote their sweet past into a fairy tale and shared it online, bringing many young couples to tears. The love story of a wealthy heiress and a researcher spread like wildfire. Wendy was determined. She believed that if the whole nation got involved, she could find Billy. And when she did, she wouldn't let him leave again. Every day, Wendy ran around to media events, getting more and more exhausted, almost to the breaking point. Mark was worried about the baby and kept trying to persuade her. Take it slow, you'll find him. But if you keep going without eating or drinking, you'll harm not just the baby, but yourself too. Mark knew mentioning Billy's name was the only way to snap Wendy out of her trance. But it was like she was possessed. She couldn't rest until she saw Billy. She constantly regretted agreeing to Mark's vacation invitation. If she hadn't gone, stayed home instead, she would have noticed something was wrong with Billy. But now, regretting was pointless. Mark couldn't persuade her. So after Wendy spent a few sleepless nights, he knocked her out and took her to the hospital to get some nutrients. Wendy didn't know how long she was out. When she woke up, she saw a familiar figure. Billy, you're finally back, she cried out in a choked voice. But as her vision cleared, she saw it wasn't Billy standing there. It was Mark. Mark looked hurt, holding a bowl of soup he cooked himself. He blew on it to cool it and offered it to Wendy. Come on, have a sip, you're not doing well. The doctor said bed rest is needed to protect the baby. Wendy recoiled and knocked the bowl away. I don't want you. Bring me Billy. Wendy screamed, throwing a flower pot off the nightstand and clearing the table. The room was a mess. No space to move around. Mark's hand was red and blistering from the hot soup, but he stopped Wendy from pulling out her apologizing. Wendy, I told you back then I was forced to. My parents threatened me. What could I do? Wendy calmed down and looked at him sideways. Get lost. When I needed help, it was Billy who was there for me. I realized I loved him without even knowing it. Just when I realized it, he left me. A tear fell from Wendy's eye. She always thought she loved Mark. He always had her heart. But Billy's sudden departure shocked her. That's when she realized she couldn't live without him. Reflecting, she found she fell for Billy's awkward but comforting presence. She had so much to tell him, but those words were stuck inside with no one to hear them. Mark couldn't believe it, thinking Wendy was being unreasonable. He thought she wanted Billy for his status and brains, and him for his charm. But as he was about to say more, Wendy took advantage of his hesitation, pulled out her and called security to escort Mark out. Mark wanted to resist but didn't want to upset her, fearing for the baby, so he relented. But even after being escorted out, he kept an eye on Wendy. Wendy kept up her search, sponsoring a reality show just to find Billy. People were moved by her determination, spreading Billy's photo online. The world is full of fakers. Many claim to have seen Billy for the reward. Wendy got a message from someone claiming they saw Billy in Africa. Though her staff warned it was likely a scam, Wendy went through waves of doubt, flew overseas based on a blurry profile picture to find him. Wendy, here's the person you wanted, we brought him to you. Filled with hope, Wendy looked up, but then bowed her head in disappointment. The man looked like Billy, but 7 years of marriage. She knew instantly this wasn't him. Shaking her head, she planned to fly to another country. Then she heard Mark, who had caught up to her, finally faced her. Wendy, stop it. This endless search, back and forth, do you even care about the baby anymore? Wendy crossed her arms and coldly looked at him, tossing an abortion paper at Mark. Mark, I warned you. Disobey me, and this is what happens. It's all my fault. If I hadn't agreed to your absurd request, if I wasn't pregnant, he would never have left me. Mark looked at the document repeatedly, yelling in anger. Are you insane? This is the baby we've longed for. But after losing Billy, Wendy was filled with regret, never softening towards Mark again, resenting him for ruining her happy family. Had Mark not showed up and caused trouble, Billy wouldn't have found out about their past. They wouldn't have fought so much over Mark, and everything that happened afterward wouldn't have occurred. Wendy didn't pay any attention to an enraged Mark, but kicked him out for good. Mark, remember all those mistakes you made while working for me? Once I get back, I'm gonna hold you accountable legally. Get ready for jail time. The mistakes that Mark once thought were forgotten are now magnified. He got hit with a hefty penalty and was blacklisted on Wendy's orders. Devastated, Mark ran away and never returned. Wendy never stopped searching for Billy. Her days were a haze of work and desperately trying to find him. But her efforts only led to con artists and false leads. Even after being deceived repeatedly, she refused to give up. Eventually, missing Billy too much, she found a teenager who looked a lot like him. She dressed him in Billy's clothes and had him imitate Billy's behavior. But no one could capture Billy's essence. They just ended up looking insincere and awkward. Time passed, and many advised Wendy to let go. Billy wasn't coming back. Yet she clung to hope and threw Billy a birthday party every year. With drink after drink, she'd point to the cake and say to the empty air, "The cake I promised you is ready. Why aren't you back yet?" She lived in a daze and neglected her company until it fell apart amid economic crises, vanishing into history. After the company collapsed, Wendy completely lost it. She'd speak to the air daily, apologizing over and over for losing him. Her parents swallowed pills in their debt-laden year and left her alone in the world. In those lonely days, she wandered in the rain until someone offered her an umbrella and a kind smile. That umbrella sheltered her from life storms for 7 years. Major trauma left her with selective amnesia, holding on to only the happier memories. Those she once supported as a financial backbone had turned their backs. Yet some saw her commercial potential and exploited it through tragedy-laden live streams. The crafted tales of her struggles tugged at heartstrings everywhere. Unaware social media users shed tears over her plight, donating to cover her stay in a mental health facility. Each year, her story resurfaces, sparking anger at life's injustice. 10 years later, on a secluded island, helicopters flew away one by one. Eventually, they gathered around a new research facility where researchers, in special uniforms, stepped out to cheers. Billy emerged and saw his mentors, older now, waiting. "Billy, welcome back." His time on the island had passed swiftly, consumed by research. Now home, his mentor mentioned Wendy. "Wendy's company went under a few years ago. She's in a mental health hospital now. Do you want to visit her?" Billy was stunned. Had Wendy gone mad over him? He shook his head. "Nope, couldn't be. Thanks, but I'm just really in the mood for your homemade cooking," he said. His mentor's wife smiled in agreement. The three headed to the grocery store together. 10 years gone, the familiar scenery had transformed. Old buildings were replaced by shining skyscrapers. Massive screens blared ads above their heads. Curious, Billy glanced up and saw a feature on Wendy. She's caught on camera talking to thin air. "Okay, Billy, I'll come eat after this meeting." An emotional host recounted her downfall while the broadcast capitalized on her situation. Viewers, in tears, grabbed their phones to order something, sparing the cost of a cup of coffee to help Wendy live a better life. Suddenly, someone noticed Billy and shouted excitedly, "Are you Billy? Your wife's been looking for you for years." Billy gave an awkward smile and waved it off. "Sorry, you've got the wrong person." With that, he pulled his mentor and the wife away from the bustling crowd.